Been there, done that, know what's next. Life's a journey, never complex. A lifelong student, educators call, guiding future, standing tall. Conscious parenting, full hat on tight. Drove through decades, walked away for rights. From the motion pictures to the cosmic light. Contactee's journey, universal sight. Attempting to put the human back in humanity. Mic check, 1, 2, hear the clarity. Fascinated by the human experience. Sharing stories, breaking the silence. Human experience, hang out, come along. Kids health, synaptic circle, singing our song. Random vlogs, life stories to tell. Each journey a beacon, wishing well. We all have incredible tales to share. Healing activation, spreading care. Light the way, find the others. What's your mission, sisters and brothers? Attempting to put the human back in humanity. Mic check, 1, 2, hear the clarity. Fascinated by the human experience. Sharing stories, breaking the silence. Rise, humanity, unity we seek. Community sharing, synaptic circle unique. Be the solution, lift someone today. Assist in the rise, light the way. May the song lift whoever comes across, and may you do the same, no matter the cost. Spread the light, ignite the flame. In unity we rise, forever reclaim. Attempting to put the human back in humanity. Mic check, 1, 2, hear the clarity. Fascinated by the human experience. Sharing stories, breaking the silence.
Hello, howdy, and hello, hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Geryl and Jane, how are you?
Hi, hello.
We were almost twinning, Jane. I had your handpan shirt on. Well, hey, peeps, thanks for tuning in, and to the replay crew, hello. This would be, I guess, I'm calling it the Synaptic Circle, so episode 19 of the Synaptic Circle. And why not just a highlight hangout? Because I know that's what we're going to have. But, just bumping the shows. And it's really a synchronized synapse round. Like, we're all going to chat. I got a care share today of family photos and stories of our trip overseas. And we're all going to just talk legends and folklore and all that fun stuff. And it's the infamous Geryl and Jane, who I'm always talking about every show. I thank them for this community reach that I've had. So hello, hi Roger Blair, Sober Carper, Sandy, I see you all there. And yeah, thank you guys. Plus I think I was texting you from there and asking you about a couple stories, and I just felt like, what a way to have you all over to my house for a slideshow of my trip.
Right.
Aw, thank you.
I remember growing up where my aunts and uncles or whoever would go on a trip, and we'd come back and we'd be at their house, and they'd get out the old the slideshow viewer, and you have the screen set up. They'd sit there and click through it and tell us about all the pictures they went.
Yes. Yes. Well, I have hundreds, but I did try to pick a few that to me were either very activating, like I felt something, or they're legendary. There's a legend attached to them. And, the history is pretty cool. And for us Americans, we think some of our stuff's old world, but that's some old world stuff. So kind of some fun stories. But before we really get into all that, all the niceties aside, nice to see you all. I was excited to share right before I left on my trip. I text you guys and I'm like, have you heard of the Old Hag? And you guys have heard of the Old Hag. So I have a tale to share that blew me away in my family. I didn't know it was related to my family. But Geryl, you were saying this is a common myth through a lot of cultures, correct? Or what's your take on the Old Hag?
It's just like here in the U.S., which actually, a lot of our old folklore and stuff comes from over in the UK in that area, because that's, where supposedly we all migrated from. So a lot of them brought the stories over with them. So we'll have old hag stories here in the US, and also witches and all that stuff. And So a lot of it's based from UK, not necessarily Polish, but it could be because there's a big Polish community in the US.
Especially Chicago, especially in
Yeah.
Chicago. Yeah, but the Old Hag itself, it's witch-like, right? But I think it's about visiting children, young boys specifically. I don't know if that's the real deal, but these young boys are experiencing sleep paralysis and this figure in their room. Why I was mentioning it to you is I didn't know this. My mom said my little brother was experiencing this when he was little. And and that was, outside Chicago there. And I moved when he was 4 years old. And I was, not his primary Mary Poppins nanny, but I lived at home and helped care for him and stuff. And he left, and she goes, "Didn't you ever notice when you'd come visit that he wasn't sleeping in his room? We kept him close to our room or in our bed all the time." And I'm like, "I just thought to be cozy." Like, why wouldn't you want to sleep in a huge bed with your parents? That'd be fun. And he said, no, he was talking about this lady, this witch that she figured out was the Old Hag. And it was haunting him and terrorizing him. And then come to find out, my cousin Mike, who's now in his mid-50s, he heard about it. And he goes to my brother, "Oh, that happened to me too." So it's kind of trippy. Wow. I guess that was the men in our family have had that experience. Baba Yaga, right? That's the famous European one, right? Sober Carper. Yep.
Yeah,
and
Baba Yaga.
Yes. Talking to Dennis Carroll this week, he was brought up Baba Yaga. And Willa and the Wind, which is a story I used to read to my kids, but turns out that's a Polish witch from the wind. And this crazy cool stuff. So well, that was my Old Hag story. I don't have any more.
Makes you wonder if that Old Hag had something against little boys.
Right? Yeah. And I think, go ahead, Dennis.
I don't know. I mean, you got Hansel and Gretel story that in the UK or England. That I think it's England, but the UK definitely. But I mean, stuff that transfers with you, and maybe they started dreaming about it because they're subconscious, after hearing the story of the Old Hag or a witch or whatever, it just kind of manifested itself in their dreams. Or, I mean, it could all the way to being a succubus. It wouldn't even have to be the Old Hag. It could just be a demon or some kind of entity that prowls in people's dreams.
Yes. Which, I don't know which you would want more, because my sleep paralysis was little grays and shadow figures and Slender Man and all that. Would you want that or an old witch lady? I don't know. I guess it's all pretty terrorizing as a child.
But I mean, there's all kinds of things that'll cause sleep paralysis. There's more than one entity. We always say succubus or the Old Hag or whatever, but when we were going through old maps showing folklores and stuff, there was a lot of pictures of entities on top of people and on beds, and they were all scary. And that was all across, I mean, from the United States to England to Germany to whatever. They all have these entities that show that they come in at night and pretty much cause sleep paralysis.
Yeah. Have you had that happen to you guys?
I have not.
Remember that? No.
I've had weird dreams and stuff from time to time, or visions in your sleep, this that you can remember years later, but actually a paralysis that you can't move or, kind of froze there. I've never had that.
Oh, I think the last time that happened to me was at a conference, and it was one of those big, huge disclosure conferences. This was on the West Coast, and I couldn't get out. I was halfway out of the bed and my arms were up, like I was dropped down, and went to my first little workshop session, and they're like, "Okay, something dark happened at the hotel today. We got to do a clearing." And I was like, "What was that?" You get some bad apples in the same place, and things happen.
Wow.
So you can ask Giant. Maybe he knows of the word Zamora.
Zamora
is
Marchin?
is a folklore of like an old hag that comes to you at night and causes sleep paralysis. It's called the nightmare spirit.
Ooh.
Zmora.
Okay. I thought of my new Halloween costume. I'm gonna scare him. No, I'm just kidding.
Poor Giant.
Well, I mean, I guess getting into it all, are you want to hear some stuff about some of these legends and we can head over to Poland first. And
Yeah.
Krakow.
Let's take a trip to Poland.
Yes, he's probably appropriately timely leaving because I'm going to butcher everything. I'm so sorry. Sorry to all my Polish friends out there. I will do my best. I was Googling and listening to YouTube and asking the giant, and just sometimes it doesn't resonate.
You would
Well,
think growing up in northern Illinois and Wisconsin, you would have a little Polish in you, you know? What's going on?
I don't know. California took over. I mean, I can't even anymore. All right, let's see if I named these correctly. But I'm going to start with Krakow because have you heard about the amazing dragon there in Krakow? Have you heard about the dragon?
No, I don't think
They
I
call
have.
him Smoke Wawelski, did I butcher that? I'm going to find that because, of
Wow.
course, it's at the beginning. And the Dragon of Wawel, Castle Wawel, Wawel, but they do those as
Yeah. The Wobble Dragon, yeah.
Yes. Well, this is just a statue of him. I'm going to pull up a few as I go. I should just keep talking here. But have you heard the tale of the dragon? Are you aware of this
I
guy?
have just read a short synopsis of it, so I don't really know too much about it.
Okay. Well, so it's like 600 to 800 AD or so. King Krak. That's how they got the Krakow. He, this beautiful area off the river there, it was all limestone, and he decided this is a perfect place for a castle and to start building this territory because you could really defend yourself. And it was already in the midst of being built and everything. And then they started hearing these sounds and started hearing grumblings underneath here, underneath the castle in this limestone cave. And they come to meet this massive dragon. And I know there's, I like the legends of, loving on the dragons and flying them around and everything. But this particular guy, they couldn't slay. And it was pretty hardcore. So that it was forever. He was taking all the livestock. He was mutilating people. Like it wasn't a good thing. They really needed to get rid of him. So he was putting out this call to the villagers. It was like, if anyone can slay this dragon, you can have my daughters hand in marriage and, keys to the castle. You'll be like the hero of the castle. So everyone's trying and all these knights are coming in. Everybody's getting slayed and no one could get him. Let me find another one of him. And so they basically, this one cobbler, that was his name. Scooby the cobbler. Well, this is with the fire coming out. I'll tell you about that in a second. Scooby the cobbler comes forward and he's like, I'd like my hand at this. And everyone laughed at him. And they're like, yeah, whatever. But he was more like an engineer. He was a thinker. And so he wound up gutting a sheep, I believe it was, or a wolf, I think sheep, and filled it with hay and sulfur. And so he put it out in front of the little cave you saw there that you can go tour. Unfortunately, we were there on a Sunday night. We didn't get to go down in there, but you can go in there. It's all limestone walls. And I mean, you could feel the presence. There was a huge creature in there. And so he put this outside the cave. And when the morning he went and ate it, because he thought it was the sheep, and immediately he started breathing fire. So they have this statue that goes off every 5 minutes and blasts fire. And he basically couldn't stop. So he wasn't like he couldn't breathe in, he couldn't breathe out. He ran to the river, which is right in front of him, just kept gulping water, and eventually it killed it. Oh no, he drank so much water trying to put out the fire that his belly burst. And that's how they slayed. Yeah, he exploded. And so what I love the most about this story is, it was a huge deal there, and little dragon things everywhere. But what I love the most about it is because, yes, there's legend, and how do I remove this now? Yes, there is the folklore, but and stories passed down. And tourists, they could have carved a cave, but to me, it's a historical marker. So is that the proof that the dragons existed then? It's kind of a cool way to prove it, I guess.
Right.
But that was kind of cool. And the dragon vibe was everywhere there where we went in Poland and Wales. So, the Welsh flag has the dragon on it. So dragons are a big to-do. I love the dragon tales. That was one of my favorite little stories of them. But so have you heard of any of those? I'm going to have to delete some of these, make some room. Am I doing all right? They're actually pulling up. I think I'm getting it. Okay. Hi Pancho. Did I see Pancho there? And Joanne, nice to see you. Talco
Talco just came in.
detector. Yes. Chili's in the house. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Taco. Okay, what was my other one? So I said Scooby the Dragon story. Oh, well, the castle was pretty amazing. Actually, let me try to find some castle pictures. I didn't realize this would take so long. Sorry.
That's
I should
okay.
have like waiting room music. If when we went into that Wavell castle, forgive me if I say that. I want to know if you guys have any stories about this. This is behind the castle walls. You know, they have these incredible churches and things, but look at the gold top. I hear so many mixed rumors
Wow.
about what those are used for. Like, is that an energy resource? Are they
Yep.
harnessing energy? And this particular gold one at this, they depict scales of a fish. Like it's all scales. It's in
Oh,
a group of scales. But yeah, that's behind the castle walls. But yeah, what is the gold? Jane, do you have any more stories about
Yeah, with the
why there's
with old world, I think it used to harvest energy.
Mhm. They're big out here. So Armenian churches are huge out here in LA, and they all have them. They all have the big, huge gold dome on top. We just thought they were being flashy, but
Yeah.
I think too it's a lot of yeah.
And those
It's
dome tops are around the whole world.
uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Well, that I thought was crazy, and we couldn't go in. There's a 11-ton bell inside of there, like a bell that they ring, and
Oh,
wow.
super old. Yeah, we went a little late. You see, it's getting a little darker. Here's on the other side of the
wow.
walls, but we couldn't go in. But incredible view. What were you going to say, Geryl?
I was going to say, usually the free energy ones is the tallest tower, and it has the sphere or spire on top, and usually there's some kind of globe that's supposedly held like red mercury that would spin around, and that's how it
Oh
created
wow.
that. That's how it created or converted the energy.
Okay. Ooh.
So
Yeah.
that little gold one might have been a receiver or something to power something else off, because it looked like it did have a little antenna or something on top of it.
Yeah, it did. Let me try to go back to it. I probably pulled that too quick. Oh, is it still up actually? I'm on
No,
my
we
no,
have
it's
people
not.
watching
Oh,
next
that's
to a
that's
red
me.
brick. There it
Yeah, here
is.
it is. Oh yeah, there is a sphere up there.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is.
So it doesn't look like
I
it's the tallest one, but it does look like it has a tower or almost like antenna looking on it.
It does. Yep.
Usually they're crosses or some kind of religious symbol or design, but they say they were to receive from the ether, so energy. So I don't
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
or could put
Yeah.
out energy. It could also go the other way.
Yes, it could very well go out. Well, this is actually in the market of Krakow, which is still very active, super, super populated. It's covered in cafes and shopping and everything. But this is the old St. Mary's Church, obviously the one on the right side that's under
Mm,
construction. But they have two towers of different size, and it's about these brothers who fought, who could have the best tower, and it didn't go so well, and so one got killed and the other jumped to his death. So they have like a knife dangling from the entranceway. It's a really crazy little legend. But the coolest part is ignore our vacation style family photo. I could zoom in, but we all either have our eyes closed or looking the other way. But the tower on the left, though, have you heard of the bugler? The guy who does the bugle outside, the trumpet outside the tower. Have you ever heard that
Oh,
story?
no, I don't know that.
This was when this was built. Do I have the date? I should have the date. Tell me I have the date. This is old. Okay, it's old. It's like 1200. So anyway, they had the watchtower up there and a guy with a bugle horn. And when he'd see trouble coming, he'd play it. And he'd play first at the gates and then he'd play at each side to warn the different parts of the town. And so, but there's a certain point of the song that gets cut off because an arrow got shot in his throat and he died.
Ah,
So, but to this day, every hour on the hour, 24/7, 365, there's a dude that walks all the way up those stairs to the tippy top and he'll play out of each corner of the window same song that was played, and he abruptly stops when the guy was killed.
Wow.
And so it's
Oh, wow.
everyone's, instead of like church chimes, it's like we wait for the little trumpet guy, and it's a big attraction. But the history of it was kind of crazy in a way, especially how high up there. Can you imagine an arrow getting? I mean, at the tippy top, those little rounded windows. Maybe can I zoom in on this? Yeah. Oh wait, that only zoomed in on my end. Yeah, the tippy top right under the scaffold there. It's the little, yeah. That was kind of trippy. I'm practicing for my classroom, by the way. I'm going to give them this whole tour.
I see there's a gold sphere at the top, like we talked about, and some say that was gold and had red mercury inside, and it would vibrate and spin the mercury inside to create the energy. And you have a pterodactyl in the background up there flying around.
I know, look at that. Yeah, there's
cool.
a story behind those doves too, but they're everywhere. That's crazy. You know, and this church is still in service. We did step in, and it was the middle of a ceremony. So I didn't take many pictures, but it's super ornate, you know, the ceiling painted and everything, super ornate. Hi, Robert Bauer.
How did you feel when you were inside?
You know, that place was crowded, and we were there. This is Sunday afternoon. So it was hard to navigate a lot of it. I think it was more of just keeping myself zipped up and protected a lot. It had the tourist vibe. It was overrun. And then we also were warned, even by the giant, you know, the pickpocketers are really strong there. So I was kind of just defense mode most of the time.
Yeah.
But walking through those cobblestone, like walking around that marketplace, and there's a really old vendor with all the little old booths. That was really enchanting and cool. Basically, very populated, but not all in the physical. Like a lot of energy, not in the physical. So it's still alive and well.
Makes you wonder when you go to old world places and there's like booze and that, you know, how many times have you seen stories or movies where the vendor actually is another entity or pretending to be in our world when they're really from the old world? You could have bought a trinket from a witch and wouldn't even know it.
Yes.
Oh.
We did buy it. Yes, that was actually a vibe. It was like, no, we didn't want to exchange. I think the coolest vendor, and unfortunately I didn't send my picture to my laptop here, when we did go around the dragon, that particular day, it was summer solstice. So they had that's why it was even more crazy around the castle. They had a summer solstice holiday, and we did come across this little boy we were with, the giant's cousin's son. He really gravitated toward this guy making lace, and you could see the old way they were making the lace with all the little wooden tabs and just this nice little old gentleman. And he did it for the little boy and stuff. And that was a really special one. Like that felt good. Others we were like, they're cloaked.
So was that picture from Wales or Poland?
With the lace, the guy, the lace.
Well, I'm just talking about that picture you just showed with the church.
All these are Poland. That's correct, Poland. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's walking distance to that castle. So the castle is high up in the city, and the city's all around it, but it's all, you know, based upon that castle there. We did do a driving tour, which is really fun. I realize I have more videos than pictures, so to go through those and do screenshots will be fun. But it was fascinating. What I want to share though too, like 30 minutes from there though, and I'm gonna say this right, Waliska, spelled with a W, but Waliska is the salt mines. Remember I was telling you about the underground city there? And the salt mines there, that was really crazy. I think the craziest part about it was I was hearing it's 180 miles of underground city. That's huge. It's ridiculously huge. And it's almost 200 feet. It's more than 200 feet. Yeah, like over 200 feet, almost 200 feet down. And when we walked for 2 hours, we didn't even get through 1% of it. That was pretty nuts. And we were down about 160 meters, I think. It was intense. Let me start getting some of those pictures. But the vibe there was a trip. And really it's the story. I'm going to circle back to Hungary when we get to Wales, but I have this crazy like past life story for Hungary. But I didn't realize that with the salt mines, it has to deal with Hungary too. Let me start pulling these up because where is it? Let's just start with that one. So there's a princess from Hungary. Basically, she was, hand in marriage. She really wanted to take her. They were migrating to Poland basically, and she wanted to really take care of the people. And she was always about service to others. And so she knew in Hungary, salt is like gold. It was traded, like almost like
Right.
gold, it was a survival, preserving food and everything. And so she, in a big, huge mine in Hungary, she made a wish. She threw her gold ring down in the salt mine and was like, I really, made this wish of taking care of her people, especially on this new journey she was about to take. And so she's headed to Krakow. And she wound up stopping and she just had a hit. And she's like, well, no, start digging right here, right here. Right? You have to start digging right here. And all the workmen that were with her started digging. And sure enough, they started finding salt. And as they kept digging, they wound up finding her ring. So it was a whole other country. And it was the exact same ring with the inscriptions and everything, which I thought was so crazy.
Wow.
And that became, this huge commodity. It really put, I didn't know if it put Poland on the map, but it really began, the kings, the royalty began to come because it was such a rich, rich commodity. But you could see the ground here. There's the original mining tracks and everything. Miners, though, like 1 in 10 would die all the time. They'd blow up from the methane, or the water would rush in, or something would happen to them. So it was really dangerous pulling all that salt out. But what tripped me out the most were all the churches everywhere. And one in particular was pretty dark, but I thought it was more, I immediately go to like, oh, they're doing sacrifices down there and all that stuff. And I don't know, I can't say for certain if they are or they aren't. However, they were saying that the miners, because they were dying so often, that they kept building themselves churches. So they'd pray, for their safety and protection. But look at how huge this one is. This one's coming up now.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
They're getting eaten by lizzies.
Every so often the tour guide would make a joke like, hold your children close, and you'd come around the corner and there'd be a lizard coming out trying to attack. Like,
See, they're telling you, they're just closing
they
it.
are. That's it. They are. But this crazy area, I mean, the floor looks like tile. It's everything salt that you see, the chandelier, it just made for it. It really just trips you out. And a lot of statues to the Pope and gods and the princess, Kinga was her name, with the one with the ring. She's honored everywhere throughout here. But can you see how tiny the people are and how big this is? That's how big these rooms are.
Absolutely.
And that wood up on the upper left, like I can't imagine making that in 1200 AD. So it was crazy. They have event spaces down there, everything. Such a trip. And those poor hallways that we were in, the giant had to bend his neck down. He couldn't fit everywhere. So they weren't tall people. The giants weren't working on these. So it could be a lot of other stuff. But kind of crazy there. So I'll remove those. I don't know if I have more salt ones. Yeah. So anyway, we don't have any of those. I mean, I know we have underground cities here in LA and across the United States, but I guess no big salt mines, I guess.
Well, I think on one of the Great Lakes, and it could be on the Canada side, but there is an underground salt mine that goes deep underneath the Great Lakes.
Oh wow! The Great Lakes are pretty haunted. Like that's its own.
Oh yeah,
huge. That's a trip over there, I think. No, I'll wait on that one. Let's see. Oh gosh, there's too many to see. What I also have to share. You're going to have to just get over to my channels and see my little reels. I have lots of little reels. I wanted to ask you both if you feel anything when you see this little picture. Okay, now we're going over to Wales. I'm just going to jump us over there, checking our time. It just looks like green, but do you have any vibes yourself? Because I had a particular vibe here, and I mean, we're driving, so this is more. We're over in Wales. This was northern Wales, and this was a drive. But I swear to goodness, I was feeling that Fae presence so strongly.
Just gonna say elemental. Yeah.
There's an awful lot of ferns, and everywhere ferns are, there's Fae.
Oh gosh, that was the biggest hit. That was just like Okay. So speaking of heading into, this was like going into Snowdonia, the national forest there. And that's where I felt the most. There are two places in Wales that I really got activated in, triggered to.
Oh, beautiful.
This place was unbelievable. And this site where I'm standing, correct me if I'm wrong, Marcin, didn't you say it's the highest recorded wind? Yeah, the highest wind speed, because I'll do a couple pictures of it, but the highest recorded wind that was measured was here in this land. But that's like a waterfall going on. That's actually a stone cottage down there. That was breathtaking, and it went on and on and on and on and on and on. I'm going to try to find some more here. But this is the land of Merlin. So this is Merlin and King Arthur and Knights Templar, and this is their land supposedly. And I guess Merlin lived here, all this kind of cool stuff. But you could feel it. That was the trippiest part. I could completely feel it. Let me find some more. And
I think it's called Twemelian. Twemelian is the Fae folk, the fairies over in Welsh or Wales.
Okay.
And it's kind of hit and miss depending on where you're at, whether they were good or bad. Some of them say they take your children, or they
I've heard that, yeah.
They put you in trances, and you lose decades by having a good time and dancing and having all the fun. But then when you come back, it's like everything's gone that you knew. As you were almost like a Rip Van Winkle kind of story.
Jeez. Yeah. No, I've heard that. Yep. And isn't it crazy how, and I'm still like, oh, I love my fairies, but there's some naughty little ones, man.
Oh, yeah. They say there's quite a few. They're tricksters, and they can be mean.
Yes. This little area is kind of behind where I was looking at with the waterfall, but you see that stone along there, that stone walkway. I was talking to Andy and Dennis and everybody about that. It was such a trip to know how old that is. And it's absolutely everywhere. So hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles of all this stone, which was just incredible to see. But that particular area of Snowdonia was trippy. I stepped kind of over the barricade. It was really squishy ground. It just felt untouched. I don't know. That's also this is the area, which let me get to some of the slate here, that they say this is this type of stone that you find at Stonehenge, but you don't find it anywhere around Stonehenge in South Wales. You only find it here in Snowdonia. And so everyone's like, was it Merlin that brought it over? Was it the giants? They don't know how it got there.
All the stone walls, that divided usually fields for sheep or whatever to graze in. They always say that they dug it up out of the land, and the farmers or the shepherds created the walls. Well, I find that hard to believe when you got miles and miles of these rows of stone walls.
Flat rock.
Flat rock. I find it hard to believe too, because there's no divot next to it. There's no ditch. It just is the wall. It's kind of crazy. It reminds me too of Vegas when Marcia took me on this motorcycle trip from Valley of Fire going over to Hoover Dam, and we were passing government property, and they had a tiny stone wall like that around the whole thing, and it was only like a foot tall, and it tripped me out so bad. I wouldn't let us stop at the dam. I said it felt I just was overcome with like fear and darkness and all this craziness, but that wall tripped me out so bad. I'm like, why is it in these little blasts of stone everywhere? I don't know.
That was a Hoover Dam.
Yeah. Oh, right by outside of Vegas there.
Yeah. So the Hoover Dam supposedly has a black pyramid buried underneath the Hoover Dam. So that would put out a great magnetic field or energy that maybe you were picking up on, but I don't know if it's there or not. That's just the folklore, if you want to say conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
That there's a black pyramid that they were trying to hide, so they covered it up.
That makes sense. He'll tell you, because I was beside myself, like shaking. I was like, we can't eat here. That was his part of his plan, and you don't mess up with his plan. I'm like, please, I think we wound up at a grocery store in the next town just to get food. I'm like, sorry, I can't stay there. This felt so creepy. It was right on the road there, right in the heart where I was showing you by the slate, and it was just cool. But definitely, I would take some investigators. I think investigators need to go to check this place out. This was really a trip. I don't know much about it. It's unmarked. Didn't even look lived in. But again, how old it is. This is what drives me crazy out here in America. As soon as something gets just a little bit old, they made it so crappily they have to redo it all the time. But out there, this stuff's lasting lifetimes.
Right.
Absolutely lasting lifetimes. Just another Snowdonia. Yeah, as you can tell, I was completely hypnotized by Snowdonia. It was pretty awesome. I was talking to Dennis Carroll about it and Andy. Just another little Fey area that I was like, oh, something's going on in here. Even is there a Sasquatch in there? I don't know.
I mean, every continent, every country has some kind of cryptid, whether it's lake monsters or sea serpents or any kind of maidens. I mean, they all have like the maidens in white dresses or blue dresses. I mean, this depends on where you go, what the folklore is, and it changes a little bit from here to there. But there's always legends attached to all these stories, that people grow up with.
Yes, legends that. I love that. This is kind of more of the same area, but you see how vast it is, and just they still today are mining slate there. Let me pull up a couple of these pictures so our hosts are the Giants' dearest friends, and they're like family now. Like they're awesome. They're just really cool people. And the woman of the house, who actually lives with her mom is there too, who's true Welsh. They both grew up in this town called Bannow. Bannow, did I say that right? Are you hearing me, Marcin? Bannow, where Linda's from? Blaina. Oh, why didn't I save it? Where is it? Oh no, is this it? I think this is it. I didn't label it. Anyway, she grew up here where they still mine, and she didn't even want to drive through the town. It's more of the slate. It's a very dark area. So you're amongst Snowdonia with the Knights Templar, King Arthur, Merlin, all this, and there's crystal behind the waterfalls, all this majestic thing, and then you go to this little mine town, and it's dark, and she did not want to go through that village. This is the slate that on the side of the roads. There were miners there already. I don't know. I think I don't know. There's a lot of nefarious activity, I think, going on in this particular area. I'll just show another. But that was like one of those family vacation, roll them up when you're driving through. You just want to roll up the windows. It was, yeah. And that's where she came from. So it was really interesting that she's 60 now and she didn't care to drive through the town. She's like, no, thank you.
That's funny. Yeah. That's funny that you say roll up the windows and that. We only did that when we visited the south side of Chicago. You'd roll up the windows and lock the doors. I never think about a small little town over in the old world that you would do the same thing, because you get that uneasy feeling, but not from the criminal aspect, but the spiritual aspect.
The spiritual aspect, yes. Well, this same little area, I'm going to go now just because are you okay with all these? Am I talking too much?
No.
Okay.
That was probably an old building right there.
Oh, yes. Where was I? I went back to my little images.
Old building got destroyed with all the leftover flat rocks.
And I think, from what I remember him saying, it's the number one place in the world to that ship's slate. Correct? Granite slate. But I couldn't believe the dense darkness of it all. But there's so many places to jump around. But let's just go back to Llandudno. Llandudno, this is where the giant is from. He spent most of his working time and living time in this town. His friends are there. He lived all over North Wales, really, but the Great Orm is there. You heard any tales of the Great Orm?
Great Orm.
You guys, yeah.
No.
The Orm. Now, Orm is like Yeah, Orm is like serpent head in Norse mythology. So this involves Norse mythology, which I just studied with my class. But they call it, I'm going to say this wrong, Jormungandir. Jormungandir is the great serpent, Midgard serpent. It's supposed to circle. The legend is it circles all of Earth and goes all the way around and bites its own tail.
Oh
So it's
yeah,
constantly
yeah.
going around. I feel like it gets misunderstood with mistaken for Loch Ness or something. But so they say, well, let me find that right picture. So this whole rock formation, the Vikings, when they came over, said looked like a serpent's head. So they named it after this serpent who happened to be one of Loki's, bastard children. And here's a better shot of it from far away coming into it. I think I have two better shots. And so
Wow,
anyway,
that's pretty.
it's in the back right corner. This is their town, Landudno. This is where he worked and lived, and that's Little Huck out there. But that far point, I don't know if you can see it. I have a closer one. What was so cool about this is, you're gonna hate me for asking. And who are those English guys that race, Marchin? The guys that race. The rally, but what's the show? Top Gear. Have you guys heard of Top Gear?
Oh yeah, Top Gear. Yeah, I've seen that show.
Yeah, they used to race. There's a rally. They've raced around this particular point, and it's one lane. It's really, really dangerous. Here's a kind of a better view of it.
Wow.
But anyway, so now it's a national park, and they really only have it one way, but they close it down for these rallies and stuff. But what was so crazy cool here is, I didn't know. I guess a slideshow would have been a better idea. I'm doing one at a time here. Thank you for your patience, everybody. I forgot that part. So at the top of that, or actually all around it, I found this little area, and there's a goat. They do have those goats that climb on the side of the mountains that you're like, how are they there?
Yeah.
But the military's involved here. They have a lot of military ghosts here, ghost hauntings, and the Royal Air Force, I guess, well, they're flying all over the place of North Wales. I think that's where, what's his name? The illegitimate Princess Di's son who went in the Air Force. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
They fly over there, but there's legend over here of the military ghosts and stuff from World War I and II. But they had some hideouts, and they had a couple cool spots up around here. But then you get to the tippy top. I don't know. I loved this area, and this was kind of the first thing we saw when we got to town, so it was really kind of hypnotizing. At the same time, goat, serpent head, orm. I loved checking out at the top. There were about two of them cemeteries, and we actually went around in them, and you could find the sheeps everywhere. But do you see the ocean? The water's right behind it. So this is cliffside at the top of that serpent's head. And going inside, some of the stuff dated way back. And this was where I had to do a couple verses. I even feel like I got a hitchhiker from this because I got a little sickly that night.
Now this is this Polish still or Welsh?
Oh, sorry. This is all Wales now. Yeah, we're in Wales.
All Wales, yeah. Okay.
Yes, North Wales. And here comes just even one of the sites that was dug up. And this
looks like steps going down.
Yeah.
It does look like steps going down. You're right. Maybe it's not a dug up grave. It could be underground. I didn't even think of it that way.
I don't know.
Yeah. Let me make some room here and share some more. But we were kind of, I don't know, we were into this little area, especially when you just every so often we just find the most random sheep. Felt very Minecraft. I don't know, because it was just all these little sheep everywhere. But they also had there's a bronze mine up there, and it's still active. There was a little school that was going on a tour headed down there, I think. But let me see if I find that one. And there's a village around it. So this is all on that serpent head orm. And at the tippy top, you can take a little trolley to go up to the top. This is the village around the bronze mine. But yeah, people live up there on that orm, the Great Orm, which you can only kind of get in through that national park entrance. So you really want to be up there. You want to be left alone, basically. Here's is this the bronze mine? I guess I could have labeled things a little better. But that was a little eerie up there. Yeah, it was a little funky. But
Wow.
yeah.
Well, there's a lot of legends of sleeping giants and dragons and other giant things that got instantly petrified.
Yep. Oh gosh, the formations. I
Yeah,
have some videos actually that
know.
were better with that. The
Wow.
formations were eerily, they took so many shapes of you're like, okay, this is something, especially in the land of Merlin. That was which is
Hmm.
Wales. Holy smokes, the rock formations were really crazy. Um, Speaking on the trippy stuff, is that kind of the end of the orms? Oh, the goats were just, I have a little reel on my page about that, but I have to get into this little past life thing because this goes back to Hungary with that Princess Kinga with the ring in Poland. So it kind of connects Poland and Wales, which ironically are the giants' two places. So I feel
Hmm.
like this might be our connection. But on the opposite end, there's another little island off of northern Wales called Angeles, and it's super majestic. And on the far east side, this little town, you could actually take a ferry over to Dublin. So it's really, really
Oh,
out there. But when we got to this little lighthouse area, well, it's in Holyhead, but it was called Stack. Oh gosh, I just call it the Holyhead Lighthouse, but it is well, Slow Stack, I think is the name. I was near fainting. Like I wasn't even out of the car and I was catching my breath. I felt like I was getting thrown off. And
Wow.
why I'm bringing it up is because,
Hmm.
oh gosh, and I did. When I had this session done, I think I talked about my friend who kind of pulled me out of the dark. It was like 2016-ish, when I kind of started filling up with light again.
Mm-hmm.
She had this moment with me of when she was just kind of chanting, and I kind of had to make my own mental notes, but she was saying that I was a Hungarian royalty and my family sacrificed me and I was thrown off the cliffs. And now this is not
Hmm.
obviously in Wales. This has nothing to do with Hungary, but the way it made me felt like I was going to be thrown off any second. And I was freaking out my son. I'm like, don't get so close. He's like, I'm 50 feet away. And it was, I hadn't had such a shaky moment like that in a long time. And we were up in a
Wow.
tower in Poland. Like we did some heights before, but we didn't do anything that really made me freak out like that. So I was wondering what the heck was going on. What was I looking at? Let me find appropriate picture of the lighthouse as I slowly queue up. But I don't know. Do you think it might be related somehow? It doesn't do it
Could
justice,
be.
but we were so far up. And they made a tower that we were looking at, and then there's a lighthouse on the other side. Let me just find that last one. I think I just labeled these poorly.
I mean,
But anyway,
whether it was your past life or another reality, however you want to explain it. I mean, all these old world or they all had sacrifices. I mean, they always made sacrifices, and it could be even just from a battle, where one
Mm-hmm.
kingdom takes over another kingdom, or they're fighting for power. I mean, that's how you got the flag with the dragon on it. There's a red dragon and a white dragon that fought for
yes,
the land or for the world.
yes,
So, I mean, maybe you were picking up on other entities or other people's spirits that were sacrificed or killed during this time. Because I mean, you go to a lot of places, even in the US, like the Civil War, all these battlefields, they have a presence because of all the trauma that happened there. So maybe these cliffs were a suicide spot. Maybe they were, like you said, sacrificed, or who
Mm-hmm.
knows what happened in previous times and eras.
yes, yes. I right on point. Even Sandy says, and Sandy, yes, she was saying the trail above the water. I think you meant the last place by the cemetery. I had an image of old clothed people walking it. Eerie feeling on that trail. I get your feel, Heidi. Yeah,
Hmm.
Like
that's what.
druids.
I wonder, was it druids? Ooh. And yeah, the step-like pic she saw, it looked like an old broken tomb. I thought it was somebody, somebody took something out. Parapet, Poncho says. Hi, Poncho. Good to see you. Yes, this is what Wales now, Sober Carper. Well, yeah, this little area. Oh, tripped me the hell out. But like, I was so happy I was surrounded by family. But I was like secretly like, is this the connection of the giant and I? Like, is it all coming together? I don't know. Well, let's go back to where we were talking before we started, and any of us who remember the old Castle Dude, Castle Dude, where are you? I believe he toured this for all of us. So this is kind of before, this is kind of on that Isle of Angeles when, where this lighthouse is. This is on the other side of that island. And here's that picture. How do you say that again, Geryl? Cynophoran?
Yeah, Cynophoran.
Cynophoran.
So that's still on our channel. We did the live with
good.
Neil on our channel. So if anybody wants to see the inside or Neil, it's still up there on our Midwest Night Watchers YouTube.
Oh, good. Yeah, I want to check that out.
Yeah.
I know his channel's gone, but we can still find things there. Yeah, the tide rolling out underneath. We were on a bridge, and it was so trippy because the boats would get stuck, and you have to either, they say there's haunted tales of women walking along the tide that's been pulled out, like maybe the sirens getting all the fishermen that are stuck, kind of thing. Because sometimes the rescue boats would then come out to the boats, and then they'd be vacant, and they're like, where did the captain go? Where'd they go? And so it's kind of a trip. Yeah.
They got eaten by dragons.
Yes. But you were talking about that little town that's within this castle, right?
Yeah.
And that felt really haunted.
Wow.
And Martin used to work there. Oh, Heidi, where is it? I think I jumped around a little too much here. Cynophoran. There's Poland. So there's a place called A Hole in the Wall, and there is like a hole in the side of the walls. Here it is. The bald head is not the giant; it's our buddy. But this is, you could just see how close you are. You're literally, his town is within the castle right there, and they're still active and thriving. And there's bars and everything. And my giant used to work at one of the bars. There's a dark arts store that it's kind of like you have to kind of find the entrance, and that was intriguing, but it was darker, a little less maybe the power of the dark arts was alive and well there, I'm not sure. But it was a really cool town. Something, again, you have to feel the vibe. And again, it wasn't crowded when we went that day, yet I felt it was so crowded. So it was, there's a lot of spirit there, I feel.
Was the giant a bouncer?
Yes.
Yes.
Many different areas. Yes, many different areas.
Yeah.
This place, though, we didn't do the walk. I know Neil did with you all. I don't know what he said about it, how he felt, but I don't know. There was something vacant about it. It was more of the town that was alive. These castle walls, I just felt a lot of death,
cold.
basically. Yeah,
They just
very
look
cold. Yes, it was very cold. I mean, those were probably the most, let me make sure I did all my most activating things, and then I'll close the screen. That was a long care share. I thought I had some more. So
once again, we got to think of all the trauma that happened during this time. Obviously you see the slits for the arrows for the archery to go through.
Yes.
So not only do you have invading factions coming on to try to overthrow the king or the kingdom or whatever, but you also have turmoil inside. How many times have we heard stories of families, turning or killing relatives so they didn't try to take over the king spot or queen spot, or an illegitimate heir they lock away in a castle. That's how we get the London's tower, where they locked away the twins.
Yes.
So you have all the trauma inside in the castle, let alone what was happening outside, tried to get in. So the whole area, this has this not only mystic, but also trauma from all the death and this everyday family living back then in the old world.
Yes. An old world it is. The little cemeteries like this popped all just randomly, overgrown brush and everything, but enchanting, haunting, mysterious, like it had all those vibes. But yeah, definitely trauma based. There was a lot of feelings of wanting to clear. I did a lot of little verses of really a lot of places I went. But it like enchanting, like wanting, I wanted to be there, if that makes sense.
Right.
Did you
What were you
any
gonna say,
dates
Jane?
on the tombstones?
Yeah, I saw 1200-ish. I mean, oh no, not 1200. I think the earliest we saw was 1516, but the sign said the
Mhm.
building that when you walked in was established more 1213. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Some you just couldn't read anymore. Like that, the one that you saw that was opened up, that was in a whole area that just looked ransacked. Like it just looked like that very well could probably was steps going down, but the whole area they were knocked down. It looked it just looked sad. But then it was next to very posh. Even some had flowers that were put on them, so their lineage was still coming to visit. And then a
Wow.
random sheep or something.
Wow.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. Can see why fire is so important. Yes, Sandy. Yeah, the Red Door Church right there. That was. I realized. I mean, I forgot a couple bits, but these to me were the activating, the haunting, the vibes you felt,
Mhm.
and it's fun to be able to share. Thank you for letting me share, because some of the stuff I didn't share in real time with them. I just wanted to soak it in. I made a lot of little notes. I brought a journal. Like, tell Geryl and Jane this. But more than anything, I want to go back. I can't wait to go back.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, especially that land of Merlin. Now, there was crazy weather front coming through, and what was trippy is in that area, we were 20 minutes away from where we were staying, like on the coast in Llandudno, and it was sunny and beautiful, and we left, and then in there, it's the mist, that mist. Mist of Avalon is all I kept thinking of. And this wet and damp and squishy ground in Merlin, it was there, but energizing. And then you get to the beach in the sun and you think that would energize you, but no, that mist was doing something. It was crazy.
Was
The
the air thin and crisp?
Yes, very.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Chicago winter. It was like it caught your breath.
Yeah.
And there was one couple particular areas you step out of, and that wind was just, that's what was giving this crazy energy. But I don't think it was just wind. Like there was
Wow.
something else going on in there. Yeah, I need to investigate more tales of Merlin, but I get it. I get it
Hmm.
now. It all just kind of dot connected. I love all that stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, I really appreciate you
enjoyed
walking
that.
through that
Thank
with
you.
me. Yeah. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I have one more. I don't have a picture for it, but I found, so this little boy gifted me this book, Legends of Krakow, and I forgot to
Oh,
share it in that and the
wow.
castle where that dragon lived. Smokey, they called the dragons, but under the Valville Castle where they blew the belly of the dragon blew up on the west end of that castle. Apparently, before the 20th century, so not long ago, Hindus came and they said they consider Krakow one of their seven wonders of the world. Apparently,
Hmm.
under that castle, they say one of the chakras is buried, like one of the heart chakras is, or
Oh,
a heart
wow.
chakra is buried. And if you can go, and of course it was closed when we went, but if you go to one particular area, there is through a wall that no one understands where you're getting through or in. There's a crack of light, like light is coming out, and they don't
Really?
know. Yeah,
Wow.
and it's by the dragon. So
Wow.
it's like, is there a heart buried there? Is there a chakra there? But the Hindus believe like that's like Muslims go, the Surja and the Meccas they go to. I'm sorry, I
Hmm.
can't think of all the names I'm trying to say, but this is like their Mecca they take. They go to this castle and they visit this chakra that they say is buried under the castle. So super activating for whole cultures.
Where are the other chakras buried
I
at?
know. Oh, they did say for them, they said other parts of the world. Let me see if Delhi, Jerusalem, Mecca, Delphi, Rome, and Velahad. So, but for
Cool.
them, Krakow's one of the seven sacred spots of the world. It's like Christians go to the Holy Land and Muslims go to Mecca. They go to Krakow. So it's like, and they still, and I noticed, it's a big population here. So
Wow.
yeah. Oh, nice, Sandy. The Florida shores are cool. Europe shores are fascinate me. They fascinate me too. And honestly, I'm glad you brought up the Great Lakes, you guys. I'll be there soon. We're trying to figure out our road trip down to you. But I get hypnotized there too. Like that's a big activation point for me. And you won't believe it. I don't know if he's taken the call, but my sister found a property. So on the water there in Lake Michigan. So we're kind of looking at it. Do we go in on a family thing or something? So it'd be so fun to get my roots back there for summers.
I think there's places you can even rent like a houseboat big enough and just stay like at a dock, but you can also take it out and tour around, not necessarily deep into the Great Lakes, but around the little towns and harbors and stuff. And I think it comes with a captain, but it might be
Wow.
kind of expensive, but it's kind of cool because you can have a whole family on this houseboat.
Yes. Totally. Oh, I love houseboats. I've been on a houseboat just to visit once. But first, it was like I couldn't understand the concept. Where's the poop go? Like, what's happening? Like, it was really kind of, yeah. That'd be kind of
But,
cool.
any big body of water like the Great Lakes or even the lakes over in like Welsh or Poland, they have their mystic tales and stuff, whether it's ladies of the lake or whether it's orbs or smoky mists that come out and go. There's always tales that go along with them. That's what's fascinating. I mean, just like the corpse candles from there in Welsh, you have this mysterious candles or like the flame of the candle that you can see at night through the forest or over top of the waters.
Jeez. Ooh, take me back. I could do it. That's like a haunted area that I felt grounded in. Like some areas I don't want to deal with, or I don't want to go back to. But Wales, it's like I'm tempted. There's temptation there. I'm like, I got to get in there. I want to feel it out again. See all that stuff. And the dragons. So, I mean, even in Wales, you just felt like this is land of dragons for sure. Just everywhere you looked, you could just picture and feel them there. Well, they're probably hanging out in another dimension.
Yeah, I mean, every family crest either has a dragon or a lion or some kind of leadership or like an icon for not necessarily a warrior, but a beast or something that was really ferocious and could showed strength. So dragon was definitely one of them. And there's so many different dragons. You have red dragons, black dragons, green dragons, white dragons. I mean, you pick the family and they have their own crest with their dragons or even like falcons and eagles. And it's just amazing the heritage that's over there.
Oh, super rich. Where is your heritage from again, each of you?
My father's side is from Lorraine, England, but at the time it was either it was like a border town where they always fought between France and England on where the border is and who owned what part. So it was kind of one century or whatever war. It was on France's side and the other. So that's how we got Fontaine is actually a French name. So when my family was over there, it was obviously controlled mostly by France, but then we do have English side where we have relatives over on England because it was considered both sides at one time. It's a cute little village if you go there or look at the pictures of it. It's almost like a little cottage town. It has all the gingerbread and all it. It looks out of place for the area.
Yeah,
almost looks Scandinavian at point.
Are you telling me too that you say your name Fontaine? It's not Fountain.
American is Fountain.
Okay,
but originally it was De La Fontaine.
De La Fontaine. Okay. Hey Amber, I see you over there.
Of the water. So somewhere our family had something to do, either live by a lake or a fountain or a spring or something to do with water. So it's De La Fontaine.
Okay, nice. What about you, Jane? Have you shared before? Where your
heritage is? My mom said we were Scottish, Irish, and Welsh.
Oh, did you know all this stuff? Was I just preaching to the choir? Did I get?
So yeah, I guess originally I'm from that whole area. Scottish, Irish, and Welsh.
Do you know what part of Wales?
No.
It's so much bigger than I realized. From where we were, it's very northern coast of North Wales down to Cardiff, or and you go. It's like 8 hours, 7 hours or so. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. Oh wow.
I think that's why Jane said she was born in the 1800s on that one show because of her old world connection.
Oh, sure. Was any of that activating? Was it like, oh yeah, I remember that, like in another life?
I'm from there. I remember that.
There's my house.
I was trying to say 1980s, but it came out 18, and I kind of caught myself. And 1880s.
That's awesome. Well, that's awesome. Man, well, Sandy, I see you say something about Craig. You mean Craig Walker from from UK? She said, "Be cool if you hook up with Craig next time. Visit the same place." Because he wrote something about that. I know he and Melody were there just before. Craig was on one of my first Synaptic Circles. I think we did one about music. Anyway, I'm glad you. Oh yes, she said yes. Yes, yeah. I hope maybe I'll just tag him in some stuff. I know he knows we were there. And then, we were so close to Andy Decodes too. So yeah, we just have to do another trip. We'll just have to do it.
There you go.
I'll do a Amber. Look at Jane.
Amber.
Oh, there you go. Do it.
Oh my.
I'll go after. Sign me up. No. Would you ever do that, Jane? Would you ever do those, or you keeping that?
I did a regression once.
You did do a regression once.
Yeah.
Was it awesome? Did it dot connect for you?
She was Baba Yaga. No, I don't. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I felt like I had some connections, but it's also that things that you kind of already knew that
Gotcha.
that you think to yourself, like, I wonder,
Yeah.
Really
I get it. Well,
important.
well, that's what that past life thing with that Hungarian and Cliffside and all that. She wasn't even intentioning to, it wasn't supposed to happen that way. She was pulling vines off. She saw my ex, like she all these little things. And then all of a sudden she started talking about this scene of being pushed off of a cliff. And she didn't even remember doing it. I asked her after. I go, I was making notes. I go, what was I wearing? What was that? What was that? She goes, I don't know what I said. And it was like, so I'm just relying on the little information I had. What was that? Almost 8 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.
I mean, when you think of the multiverse or past lives, I mean, just look at the countless stories or connections you could have regardless. I mean, one multiverse or past life, you could have been a princess and a Native American, or you could have been over in the castles as Prince Guinevere, or Princess Guinevere, but who knows? I mean, you could have been in Roman times. You could have been, just think of all the centuries and stories and history that goes along with all these past lives. And that's what's amazing, the kids that remember being in a past life when they never had any connection, any history to base their story on, and all of a sudden they have all these facts start rolling out as they're young children, and they all become factual.
And
they're very young children.
Yes.
Yeah, they're all young children, and then they start forgetting. So
I know.
human. They say that you've got more gifts and knowing when you're little, and then little by little you're just kind of dumbed down, don't remember anymore.
Well, again, that's why I'm excited to just share more tales with the classroom and kids, and keep them, especially being immersed in it, and the old Welsh people. Like, that was really cool to be around the old. Can you read it at all, Jane, or have you ever? It's such a tricky little language, man. Oh my gosh. Some of the exits, the castles around there are like, I was telling Andy Decodes, like Starbucks. I mean, every few exits, you had an exit to go to a castle. There were so many that we didn't even touch the surface, like just so many of them. But the names are surreal, but it's beautiful. It's very Merlin. It's very hypnotizing when someone is speaking true Welsh. And the host and her mother-in-law mother that was staying with us, who was in her 80s, they would speak fluently to each other. And I would just be like, wow. And then I asked the friend, the daughter, I'm like, can you share some more? And she goes, honestly, I don't even understand. And she starts talking to me and it just comes out, but I can't do it on my own. It's like their own frequency. Right.
That's neat.
It's so cool. Yeah. Really, really cool.
That reminds me of Geryl's mom, because they came from Sweden. So her older siblings, they spoke that, but then your mom and a couple other siblings, Geryl, actually,
they were born over here, and then they never learned Swedish. They couldn't read it, couldn't speak it. I mean, they'd know words here and there because grandma would still have the Swedish accent, and words would come out once in a while. But mostly they all speak English. But my aunts and older aunts and uncles, they still knew how to read and write.
Yeah, just interesting.
The more. I had a more. We have Swedish, and yeah, it stopped with her. She was the last. She spoke fluent Swedish, and then yeah, it kind of just trailed out. Again, something else we need to keep strong. It was, with our generations. Hi, Daryl. Good to see you.
Yes,
Amber saying,
I loved always calling Grandma Adolson on the phone because she always go, yeah. She always had that Swedish accent. Yeah, when she
yes,
picked up the
yes,
phone.
yes. I love the Muppets. Yeah, sure, yumpin yiminy.
Yeah, the Swedish cook.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, that's so cool. Well, I appreciate you all sharing that with me.
Yeah.
And hi, Daryl. Hi, Amber. I know, yeah, we're not. I want to not keep you too long, so I won't take up too much of your stuff. But I swear I had one more thing. Oh, I know what I was going to share. Now, this is just current events. This is geopolitical. Do you want to get a little geopolitical here?
Sure.
And I think I sent you. So when we're back in Poland now, I have one picture of it. When we flew into Poland, here it is, and Czechau, and that's the airport we flew in to drive a half hour to his hometown. Here is they take in the Ukrainian war stuff. So you
Oh,
can you could see all of that set up all around the airport. And then we
wow.
were told by the locals that at that airport, right after we left, that there was an assassination attempt on Zelensky and it failed. And
Mm,
they're always prepared.
mm.
However, come to find out, the story was exactly a year old from that date.
Oh.
They just are so hell bent on privacy and secrets and not in protecting themselves that it never leaked. It just leaked because it was the 1 year anniversary. So I actually
Mm.
went to some of my tinfoil gang. I'm like, oh yeah, this airport Zelensky assassination attempt. They're like, we didn't hear anything about it. And then days later in the news, 1 year anniversary. And anyway, it was right around here where you see all the missiles set up and stuff. So they're still at the
Wow.
ready. Like they're still going a little crazy there. We
Maybe
also yeah.
maybe
It's a little
the
crazy.
maybe the attempt was real and it worked, but it was the wrong Zelensky.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Oh my goodness. Well,
So does a giant
anyway,
know like the legend of King Popil, or I think I'm saying it right, Popel,
King
where
Puppo.
he poisoned his relatives. Just like we talked about before, the family dealings with aunts and uncles and all that, where they kill one another off to be the true reign of the land, and that's like I
Oh,
think it's King
wow.
Popil, or I'm probably saying it wrong.
People were
Ooh,
dirty
that's
back then,
Poland,
dude.
right? That was in
Yes, that
Poland
is
or
Poland.
Wales?
That
King
is Polish
Poppo.
folklore.
I feel like I've seen that name. I'll ask him. I'm sure he knows then. I tell you, that was a step back in time for sure. The vibe, the frequency, the wardrobe, the fit, like the style, everything. But I loved it.
Mm.
It was a much calmer frequency too. But they're really strict about their legend and folklore. I was considered a
Wow.
witch, and
So,
they thought
oh
one of
yeah,
yeah, so I
Mm.
didn't say a lot of stuff, but one of the gals that we hung out with stared at them all the time, so they would wear a red ribbon around their wrist to ward off her spirit, and I'm like, I thought she was just nice. I didn't feel any woo. So they're
Wow.
really they say they don't like the witchy things, but they're very superstitious. So it's really, really interesting. I'm sorry, you were going to say something, Carol.
well, it's something about the mouse tower of Kruiska.
Ooh,
I don't know if I'm saying it wrong. That's the same thing. The King Popel, there was a big fight and locking people away, and I mean it's just crazy.
the things they were doing to protect their stuff, right?
Wow.
And I tell you, it's still going on.
It
And,
is.
not to
Mm.
air so much dirty laundry, but where the giant grew up, they had these incredible lakes by him and land. And as
Mm.
soon as he left, the government, he and his dad and his grandfather were like, this is our land, this is to pass down. And some of those, the patriarchs were gone and the land started getting sold off. So they're down to one little parcel. And
Mm.
so he Giant's trying to figure out how to keep that in the family, at least give to his nephew or something. So it's really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, there's that's still kind of going down. I guess that can be anywhere. Family gets weird with that kind of stuff, huh? Monies
Yeah.
and lands and yeah.
How
Oh,
old was
oh,
he when he finally left there and came over here?
oh, that's why he was a crab. Like it was hard coming back. I was more like, well, he was also night and day in Poland and Wales, night and day. And I think it's the blood family in Poland. Like it was good to show us the history and see where he's from. But he
Mhm.
fell into his old, the part he played in his family and, had some
Oh.
tiff still and, was feisty or short or also really like, "Ugh, I'm this guy." And I'm like, you don't have this air about you. They do think you from America, you're rich. And they don't know I'm the coupon queen who, well, you only see me in matinees. Like we're cheap mofos, but they think of him as this rich guy. And then you go to
Mm.
Wales and those are like the blood, not the blood family, but the heart family. And it was,
Mhm.
fist bumps and love and laughter. And he had so much fun in Wales and he was proud. He's proud of both places, but he was different. And then we come back here and I shit you not, Geryl Jane, excuse my French. I think I've said this so many times, but coming down the plane, not looking out the window because it's a circuit board, the frequency is just off here. It's different and it's more intense. And now I
Mm.
had 3 weeks of rehab overseas of, getting rid of it a little bit. But even where we are, and I used to say, well, we're in the up on the way house now. We're in LA, but not of it. La 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 la. No, it's not doing justice anymore. It feels like we feel the attack on the West Coast. I can feel it. And I'm feeling like everything is divinely lining us up. I needed to see that over there, whether we
Mhm.
go over there or not, to have the feeling of like being able to live in a different frequency. Because I love LA. I love the history of LA. I've been there, done that here in LA. But I see the potential of our growth, when you are not among this crazy metropolitan frequency. So
Mhm.
things are trying to figure all that. So point to my story. We get to LA and he just goes right in his head. He comes
Mm.
out of his heart and goes right in his head. And it's a shame. We see how other people live and where we live. It's just not fair. It's like, oh, I'm just tired of this war with gruesome Newsom. I'm tired of the West Coast, fear. And now
Yeah.
the ring of fire is going off. It's
Yeah.
like, so yeah,
So
that's
how many years has he been in America?
it'll be our 6-year anniversary in a couple weeks. So
Oh,
and
so he's only been here for 6 years?
yes. I know it sounds
Oh,
like 90
wow.
Day Fiance, but we met in 2018. He came twice, like a month each, and then he came in 19 for that 6 month, to woo me
Right.
thing. And then I wound up snagging him at the end, going, "No, we're getting married. Let's do it." And then he never left. So that was his first time back. It was his first time back to
Oh.
Wales in 6 years, and Poland he left when he was like
Mm.
19, so like 25 years or something. So that's why it was such a trip.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll maybe take the show on the road one day. So we'll see what
There you go.
happens. But I want
Mhm.
the kids' best interests. But to be honest, that already is kind of changing for them since we've been back this summer. Noticing changes in their social
Mm.
circles and even the education, what's happening with that. And I'm like,
Mm.
do we continue to fight the good fight and build the new,
Mhm.
or do we really create a legacy for, I love seeing this old world and people legacy and passing things down, because I don't think we don't want to pass this town down where we're at. We want to
Mhm.
go to some roots. So yeah. And you guys
Uh,
found each other in Henry, right? You guys found each
mhm.
other where you are in
Yes.
Illinois.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you got roots there. Yeah. These are your roots. And now you have this beautiful land that you tend. Like
Mhm.
that just sounds so amazing.
So how did the kids feel when they came back? Did they feel that different heaviness? Like, why does it feel different this time than when we left? So they
Do you know
felt it
what?
too.
Yes, bad habits started. Everybody wanted to escape, and we
Mm.
wanted either the bad food or the screens, and it was sheer escapism. It was like withdrawal, and to pull out of that, thank goodness we found some activities we like to do,
Mm.
but we have to, especially me, force to be like, I'm feeling my eyes straining. I'm like, I feel the pull, and not to like listen to amazing podcasts and things, but to scroll, and not even doomsday, just like numb me out, like being drunk of something. And I'm like, this isn't fair. This isn't good. This isn't right. And I feel it's forced. I don't feel like it's being weak, necessarily weak, or like naughty. That's not the right word. Like, we're not just doing just come on, do it. It's like literally hypnotized zombie stuff. Like, I gotta like, and then you just go, like Wall-E, you check out. And you're like, oh my God. And like, oh my God, we were unplugged, living our best lives, And so yeah, I think the weather war, I think the spirit war and consciousness, the spiritual war, all of it, all the loosh that gets thrown to LA and the West Coast being on fire and everything, it's coming to it's boiling up. It's boiling up, and it's affecting even someone. I'm like, I'm dying on this sword. Now I'm like, I gotta thinking, yeah. You got room at your farm? Can you house us?
All we'd have to do is clear out a couple rooms that we've got some stuff stored in, and there's at least 2 rooms.
They ended up being catch-all rooms.
If you count the basement, there could be a 3rd room that's empty.
Well, I just say throw us in the barn.
We'll
be
they would love that.
We could frame it up and put a little room and maybe a kitchen, a little room in there, and
have a loft right above the chickens and goats.
Yeah. We're almost done with Outlander. We're on the end season, and again, it keeps me in that vibe. That you're just working on your practical skills. You're cooking, you're tending land, you're homesteading, you're conversing. Like, their entertainment or their form of escapism is reading a book. And I don't know many that even just read books anymore. It's
I have
just
a hard time.
Yeah, I have a hard time. I have such a hard time. Mists of Avalon, I've been holding on to for years. It keeps falling on me. I'm supposed to read it, I know. And now I'm like, I can't concentrate. I'm like, I've been hypnotized. So yeah, that I don't need to go to the old homestead and get all your peeps together, but I'm like, just simpler. Change the frequency. So
need a compound where you can have everybody's separate little houses in their own little area, but you're all still on the same land.
Yes. It's so interesting you said that. My sister, there's a listing across the street from her house on the water. I think I said that. And it's double units. And we're like, my mom, my brother, and us. Like, everybody. I'd love to get on that water again. As much as it scared the crap out of me, I could just feel the underwater species and worlds and stuff. I loved like water skiing stuff. I just, heaven forbid I fall. Comes in time as long.
Maybe what you guys should do is go over to Wales or wherever, and using the Hollywood money that you supposedly have, buy up some adjoining land of the parcels that you do have and make a compound over there.
Yeah.
I was there and I asked, I go, what do you feel about, could you see yourself living here? And now they're taking it as mistaking as I'm setting them up for something. I'm not, but I just wanted to get the vibe. My daughter, yes. Like they were yes. And I know Wales definitely more so than Poland. Our money would go really far. Now, I guess we could, because the dollar would go a lot further in Poland. But the language and, of course, the terrain of Wales, I think, is what would bring. Hi, Mr. B. We see you there.
I was just going to say our frequency is so high that we woke up Mr. B.
Yes.
Hi, Terry.
Yes.
Hello, Terry.
Hi, Terry.
I love seeing him. Yeah, I'm just not surprised to have been able to immerse myself within that and connect with you all and share these things so I can keep the vibes going, that I'm not surprised that our current 3D, the shifts that are out of our control are guiding us somewhere. So we're kind of in the middle of this right now. We got a lot of talking to do, but we're figuring that out. So his intent, though, is to never really sell, but to start branching. You got to like caterpillar it. Branch and then bring it over, So we'll see. But I'm a Midwest girl at heart, so you never know. It would be great. Midwest, Wales, Cali, we'll get it all going.
Mid Wales.
Mid Wales.
I'm from
Yeah.
Mid Wales.
Mid Wales, yes, totally. Well, okay. Thanks, Amber. Well, cool. Well, my goodness, have I taken up enough of your time? I sure talked a lot. I hope, you know what? I got chastised at the beginning of the Synaptic Circles. First of all, I can't believe we're at 19 of them. And you guys were help launching these, and you've been on so many of them.
Yeah.
But I remember someone was watching my High Vibe Hangouts, and then they saw Synaptic Circle, and they're like, "Why do you talk so much?" And I'm like, "Because I'm part of the conversation on a Synaptic Circle.
Mhm.
The
Right.
Hangout, I'm like, I want to interview and get to know the people. But this, I'm like, I'm care sharing too.
Right. Absolutely.
So yeah, thanks for letting me dominate the waves here. Oh yeah, here we go. Amber, thank you. Never be afraid to follow your intuition or heart, even if uncertain is scary. Absolutely. Yes. And like my new friends in Wales were telling me, the women especially whispering, because they heard my concern of my kids, they will follow you and they'll follow your vibe. They literally said vibe. And I was like, I love that. And they go, there's another word for that. I'm like, frequency. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, you guys are talking my language.
There you
I'm
go.
finding my tribe. I'm finding my tribe, especially if we always have this, we can do this anywhere, like,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, not just
Yeah.
us, but the community. And
Mhm.
so, yeah. Thanks, Pancho. Thank you very much for that. That's sweet. You never know
Yeah,
who
thank
stood
you.
by. I tell you what Geryl said at the very beginning. It's happened to me so many times and in my own family. You set up the slideshow and someone shows you their vacation. If you're not there, it's like you glaze over. So I had to make sure at least I'm glad I had to try to make it a little fun, I hope. But I love to reminisce too. And the Giants' birthday's coming, and I put all that stuff I made a books. Like,
Ooh.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Nice.
so I'm like,
Aw.
and I titled it special because it's his history, it's his world. But I think it connected us. So yeah, we're a lot stronger. It's cool. Very cool.
Aw.
Yeah. But like I said, I'll be Midwest. You'll feel me soon. I'm just putting it out there, and I'm not going to impose on you. I didn't mean to house us like if we visit. I meant like we'll go for pizza. We'll treat you to pizza, but we won't bug you and stay. I meant if we can move in for life,
Ah,
be your permanent like house help. But we'll figure out how to make that meet and greet. But I trust everything will happen as it's supposed to. So
right.
We'll make it
Absolutely.
happen.
Well, you're always welcome.
thank you. Wouldn't that be a trip, you guys? Whoever's watching, what if we all went and got a pizza and I had like one selfie with all of us together? That would be so cool.
Ooh,
On the
pizza.
Night Owl Lounge, we always talk about, food and stuff like that. Eventually it gets to pizza, Chicago pizza, whatever, barbecue, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, there was one night where everybody in chat was talking about coming to our house and having a cookout or a picnic and sleeping over.
I was
and
there. Yeah.
Yeah, remember?
Oh, and the
Camping
pizza.
out.
Is that about your like having like your own gathering? Yeah, like people bring their stuff. And
Yeah,
just
well,
camp.
you could either stay in a house or maybe we can figure out how to do the barn, or you can even just pop a tent in the backyard. We've got plenty of grass and place for tents to be out in the backyard.
Wow. Do a sky
Or
watch.
you can bring up an RV and a camper and put it in our second driveway that leads to the barn. I mean, there's plenty of room there too for stuff like that.
That's
Neighbors
awesome.
might be mad after that, but
Now we'll
Hey, if
just
it's
stay
just
on
like
our
2 or
Sunday.
3 nights, maybe just a couple nights. They
Yeah.
won't.
Get a little bread
We
and
bring them
breakfast,
over. Yeah.
we're just
Bring
doing
a
a drum
breakfast.
circle every night,
Oh, they don't hear us. They're down in the basement. They wouldn't even hear it.
No, I'm talking about the other neighbor.
Oh,
Uh-oh. We'll kill them with kindness.
Yeah, yeah.
Serenade them. Are you putting it out there again? Or you think you'd be up for that? You put that plate in motion. You never know what the universe will do.
I think it would be fun. I think it'd be fun to have everybody show up for a cookout or something, and hang out. And if they wanted to spend the night, I mean, we've had people spend the night before, just a promptu, and they slept on our recliner or couch. I can't remember,
Yeah.
but
She
Yeah.
slept
it'd be
on
all
the
right. I
phone.
mean, we could deal with it for a weekend.
That's awesome. Well, do you have a big anniversary or any big thing coming up, or maybe in the future, like a year or two or something, can coordinate something? Because I love that. I know we were
Yeah.
talking about Neil with Neil too. Like he would come over. He was trying to come Look at me. Another shout out to Neil. I feel like I should pour out some of my booch. Like, like pour one out for the Mr. Neil. We'll try to manifest him. Maybe he'll come around again soon.
Maybe
Aw.
next March, at the end of next March, will be our 3-year anniversary being on YouTube. Doing podcasts. That'd be
Perfect.
kind of fun. A 3-year anniversary weekend. You know?
That sounds
I
good.
can't imagine we've been doing this, been online for 3 years.
Yeah, yes, but yeah, next
That's
March will be 3.
fantastic.
So yeah, a little over 2 years.
Wow. Then that's a perfect celebration time.
Mhm.
I'll help you with the merch. Oh, you got your merch. You have your merch place. Yeah, we'll get everybody in matching shirts and have a drum
Yeah,
circle.
we could just print up
Yeah.
short for yeah.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, good. Well, oh, Mr. B, you are? I'm calling you next. I have some protocols that will clean you right up. I'm so sorry. I wasn't aware it was that demonic thing. Let me help you up there. Oh, crop circles. Yeah, we can put some crop circles in your land.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
The farmer would enjoy that.
Yes. And even if it's not a quote unquote conference, Sandy Songjoy, a gathering of like minds. That's how I host out here. Gathering long, you get used to. And it's all about that gathering. Yeah. So anyway, with that being said, I'll start winding it down, I think. And speaking of gathering, thank you folks who ever tuned in, watched that little presentation / care share, and stuck with us, or to the replay crew. Thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And Geryl and Jane are here, so I'm not thanking them right now. But thank you. No, I am thanking you. Thank you guys for being here again. This is it was a treat. It was a super
yep,
treat
we
to
love
share.
being here. We love being with you and talking with you all the time. So the feeling is mutual.
Ah, thank you.
Why
And
is
hi,
my heart not
Tracy.
working?
Thank you. Oh, I see
don't
your
know
heart.
because
Does
you're
your
on
heart-
her show. Maybe that's
I
why.
just thought it was. Oh yeah, I just thought it would work.
When
Nope.
you do that, does a heart pop up?
If
Yeah,
you
the heart
have
pops up.
Apple computer and stuff,
Oh.
It's not. Yeah, maybe it's because it's her stream yard.
I think so. I think it's because you're going through her instead of our channel. I don't know.
I guess we have to be live. Well.
Oh, well.
Well, a positive thing, that little Wi-Fi thing didn't pop up very much anymore. So I think we're good. I think yeah.
I did not see one glitch the whole show.
Yay. Okay. Well, thanks for letting me share that. It feels really good too. And I honestly, I kept worrying the more I'd share about it, the less it would leave, but it just reactivated again. I was sweating. I literally had sweat pits when we went to the lighthouse and the cliffside. So
Wow.
something happened there. I'm dealing with some. Amber, I need some help clearing it. All right. Well, Geryl Jane, you have your show tomorrow, correct? Who's your guest tomorrow?
Paul Blake Smith.
Paul Blake Smith.
And we're going to be talking about Eisenhower and the Alien Agreement. He wrote a book on it and did some research in it. So I don't necessarily know if his take is the same as anybody else's. So we'll have to find out as we go. And
okay. Have you ever had Laura on? Have you ever talked to
no,
Laura?
see, I reached out to Laura and she said she would come on our show, but then we kind of lost communications.
Okay.
So
or you don't see the messages and, one of those times. Hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, I hear you. I totally hear that. Well, that's exciting. That's going to be a good one. And that's 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. And then you have Monday with Dr. Dennis Carroll, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
And Wednesday Night Owl Lounge.
Yep.
And am I getting all these right? And
yep.
Yeah.
You are.
There you go. And then you're in everybody's chat all over YouTube.
We try to be.
We mod all over the place.
They need, you know what? That would be at your little gathering in your house. We need the king and queen moderators. Like there needs to be an award for moderation. That would be you guys. You guys get a moderator award. Definitely from me. So thank you both for being here so much. So I will talk to you. I look forward to your show tomorrow. Remember, I really suck at winding these down. I just milk it. So I have to say goodbye. Bye, Tracy.
Well,
Bye,
everyone, goodbye. We will try to have Heidi hit the button.
Yes. And you guys hang on one sec. Bye, everybody. See you soon. Smell you later.